Welcome to IDO's video channel. In this video, I'll show you how to create pipe and structure tables. If you want to create table, you can go to menu pipes, tables, and add pipe table. I will start with the pipes and then I will go to structures. If you want to use ribbon, you can go to ribbon, annotate, add tables, pipe network, add pipe table. Under the table style, you can specify the style. I will use the one with name, invert levels, 3D length, diameter, and class. Then you can specify whether you want to create a table for the entire network or for the selection. And if you click on selection, you can use a green cube to select objects in the model space. I will create a table for the entire network. You have an option to split the table. You can specify maximum rows per table. I will say 15. And then maximum tables per stack. You can stack the tables into stack. I won't have more than 3, but I can go higher, let's say to 5. Then there is a gap between the tables. They call it offset. I will use 5 millimeters. You can specify whether you want the tables next to each other or underneath each other. I want them next to each other. And finally, you can specify whether you want the tables to be static or dynamic. Dynamic means that if you do the changes in your network, your tables will update. Static means they won't update. So of course, we want them to be dynamic. Then click OK and specify the location where you want your table to be positioned. If you zoom closer, you can see that the gap is 5 millimeters between them and the objects are sorted by name. If you want different sorting, it is possible. You can select table, right click and go to edit table style, and you can specify which column you want to use to sort the data, and you can use the ascending or descending order. The other option which you can do with a table is if you want a masking. Sometimes the table is positioned in an area where there might be some objects behind. If you want to turn the masking on, you can select table, right click, go to edit table style, then go to display tab, and there are title area fill, header area fill, and data area fill. So if you turn that on, they're using color number 9. So if you use a IDAS CTB file, that color is printed as white. And if I click OK, this is the way they look. There is also an option to modify the table. If we go to table properties, you can change the style if you want to. You can also specify maximum rows per table. Let's say, no, 15 is too much. I can only have a 10 because I have no space. Then click OK and it will update. If there are any changes and those tables do not update, you can realign stacks and they will update again. So this is briefly about the pipe tables. When it comes to modifying the tables, the same applies to structure tables. But let me show you how to create structure tables. I don't want to create table for all the structures. I only want a table, let's say, for air valves. How can I do that? I need to select them. And again, I don't want to select them from the plan. So I go to ribbon Home, Tool Space, and then I go to Networks, Bulk Water Structures. I will stretch this a bit, and I will sort the objects either by name or description. I will select them with a shift, right click, select. So they are selected. I can escape if I want to, but I shouldn't select anything else from now. Then I go to the same command, pipe, add tables, add structure. Then I select the style. I will use a name for the air valve. I will use an air valve, name, diameter, pressure, model, description. Then for the selection, I don't want to use the entire network. I will use a multiple selection. Then I click on structure selected and I press P for the previous selection and I hit enter. It says 4 found and then I hit enter again. So 4 structures are selected. I can split table, but I have only 4 air valves, so it won't be applied. I want to use the title table across and behavior dynamic. I click OK and I create the table. Let me zoom in closer. There is a lot of undefined information. That's because if you want those information to appear in a table, then you must go to structure properties, part properties, such as valve diameter, valve pressure, model, and description. So if I specify valve diameter 100, then the pressure rating, let's say PN10, then the model, I will type model, and as a description, I will type description. OK. And that updates the table. What about if I want to create a table for X and Y? I want that for the horizontal band. So I will select horizontal bands. I right click and I go to select. Then I can escape if I want to. Then I go to pipes, add tables, add structure. And I will use a style, name, Y, and X. Then I will use a multiple selection. I will click structures to select. I press P for the previous selection, and then I hit enter again. I can keep the other settings the same because I don't have that many. OK, and I specify the location for the new table, and this is the table. If I want to add or remove objects, I can do that. If you select a row, you can go to selection and you can either remove that specific row or you can add new structure if you select the structure from plan. Currently all the horizontal bands are selected, but I can select any other structure if I want to. What about if you want to change the heading for, let's say, horizontal bands? You can do it, but if you want to use this table style for multiple structure types, then you may consider to create table just for horizontal bands. For example, I go to table properties, and the table style is name YX. And what I'll do, I will copy current selection. So this is a copy. And then I will change the name. I will add the vertical line. And I will say for HB as a horizontal band. Then I go to data properties. And under this heading, I can change it. I can double click. And this is a structure list, so I can call it horizontal bands hyphen network name. OK, OK. And I will apply this table style to my table, and you can see horizontal bands bulk water. So this is how you can create a new table style.